Hey everybody, this your boy Icon, episode 5, Journey into Mystery, or Journey to Mystery, or something of that effect. It should just be called, every episode should be called Glorious Purpose, because that's what every Loki is searching for. So, in our last episode, Loki had got blasted by one of those sticks, whatever, and then they thought that he evaporated. Sylvie thought that he had evaporated, and she thought he was dead. He ended up getting transported to a place where it's full of Lokis. It's like, Lokis from different timelines, and we find out that they are Lokis that were pulled from different timelines, and they were all dropped off in that specific place. Now, when you go back to Sylvie, she's got not Kerry Washington. I can't not remember this girl's name. She has not Kerry Washington. She has her her foot on her neck, and then she's just like, "You're gonna tell me everything about the TVA," and then she's like, "I don't know about the TVA," and then she was like, "Oh, that's bollocks," and then she was just then she told her, she was like, "I want to find out," and then matter of fact, Sylvie had said, she was like, I think she said that you're awfully calm for somebody who just found out that their entire existence and their entire world just got shattered. And I was just like, I was like, why is she so calm about the fact that she just found out the TVA, like the time god people were robots? But I'm like, my whole thing is, I feel like either she's the person who's like running this whole thing, or whoever is running it, which I think is a Loki. She ain't stupid. She knows what's going on. She knows everything that's going on. She's just playing dumb. And then, she told the girl, she was just like, "Oh, I want to find out who it is too. I have questions and everything." And she was like, "I'll help you." She said, I'll help you find out the truth." And then it's like, for a person who's like, "Oh, I don't know what's going on. I want to find out the truth just like you." She knew an awful lot of information, because she told Sylvie, she was just like, "Oh, whenever we erase a timeline never gets truly erased." She said that particles of it still exist, and we take those particles and we drop them off at the end of time. So basically what they're doing is, if there's like so you have your branch, you have your timeline, your branch line. And then every time like a new timeline sprouts out, the TVA cuts that branch off, and they basically drop that branch off at the end of time. When you get to the end of time, it's like, the end of time is basically like a place where all those timelines go. And Loki found out, because he was there, he found out that there's like this purple dragon monster, like this purple smoke monster, that every single time like a variant or a timeline gets dropped off in that, at the end of time, that purple smoke dragon thing eats it and destroys it, once and for all. So they were just like, it's only a matter of time before it comes for us. And then Loki's talking to the other people, and he was just like, "Well, why are we still here?" And then he was like, "Because we're Lokis and we always survive." There was a black Loki who said that his Nexus event was he defeated the Avengers, and then he claimed all the Infinity Stones for himself, and nobody believed him. There was the boy. The boy, apparently he was in charge, and then Loki was just like, "What was your Nexus event, your majesty?" And then he was just like, "I killed Thor." And I was like, "Oh, respect." And then then there was an old Loki, and then the old one, he was just like, "How did you get so old?" He was just like, "Weren't you," he said, like, "didn't you die at the hands of Thanos?" And he was like, "Hell no." He said that he didn't even try to stab Thanos. He said he created an illusion of himself that was so real and so powerful that even Thanos believed it. And he used that, and he dipped, and he ran, and he hid. He said he isolated himself on a planet, and it wasn't until he got lonely to the point where he missed his brother and he missed, being around other people. He said the moment that he stepped 1 foot out of isolation, the TVA ran up on him, and they took him and they dragged him off, which makes perfect sense, because as far as the timeline is concerned, if that particular Loki created a lifelike illusion of himself that Thanos killed, and then he isolated himself, there was no reason for the time variants to even go after him, because isolating himself is basically the same as him dying and not being in the timeline at all. So that made perfect sense. But then, like you said, like the moment he stepped foot out of isolation, they're just like, "Oh, you ain't supposed to be here." And then they snatched him up and they dropped him off, so, and they're basically like, trying to hide from other Lokis. They took him to like their secret headquarters. And then, we found out that like other Lokis showed up. There was like a group of other Lokis, and then like they infiltrated the secret, those Lokis secret hideout. And then there was like a Loki versus Loki, battle. Everybody betrayed themselves. Like there was an alligator Loki. There was a Loki that looked like the Loki that we knew. He got his hand bit off, and there was just like this whole big, chaos and everything. But then our Loki, while all the Lokis were betraying and fighting each other, he dipped out of the hideout and he ran off and he escaped. Not Kerry Washington then, for some reason, despite having all this knowledge, over the fact of like the where the branches go in the end of time. She was still trying to find out who was really behind the TVA. So I guess she doesn't know. She doesn't. It's like she's still on board with what the TVA is doing, but I guess she wants to know who's in charge, not so she can take them down, but so she can bend the knee, and she can, she can serve at their feet. She ended up betraying Sylvie, and then, Sylvie ended up stealing that time device that allows them to transport from one place to another, which they stole from Legends of Tomorrow. And then, when Sylvie and not Kerry Washington were having like their verbal joust back and forth, Kerry Washington told her, she was just like, oh, why don't you just come out? And she's like, I'll lock you up and I'll put you in a time loop. And then she was like, no, bitch, I'm going for glorious purpose. And then she took the time device, she put it in her pocket, took the staff, that disintegrates people, and she stabbed herself with it. And it transported her to the end of time where everybody was. When Sylvie showed up, she bumped into Mobius. She bumped into Mobius, and then the two of them linked up. He ended up finding a car. I don't know where he got a car from. Like, he jumped in the car, and the two of them drove off looking for our Loki while they were going back and forth with some banter. He was just like, oh, I thought I was one of the good guys. And she was just like, yes, kidnapping and orphaning innocent children. That sounds very heroic. And then he was just like, first of all, bitch, he's like, you kill people too. And he said, I actually thought I was doing something for the greater good. So then our Loki talking to Kid Loki, Old Loki, and Alligator Loki. Because I think, was Black Loki there? I don't think Black Loki was. No, Black Loki wasn't there because he's the one who did the betraying. So he said to them, he was just like, oh, I have an idea. He said that we're going to kill the smoke monster. And then everybody laughed and told him he was out his damn mind. And then he was just like, no, that's the plan. And then they were just like, all right, look. They said that if your whole thing is to kill the monster, they said, we'll help you get to the monster, but we ain't going to try to kill him because that's stupid. The three of them show up. They, like Loki's trying to, muster up the courage and the strength to kill the smoke monster. Then all of a sudden Sylvie and Morbius show up, and then he sees her. They hug and they embrace and everything. He sees Morbius, and then she was like, was your plan to kill the dragon monster? And then he was just like, yes, it was. And then she was like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. And he's like, oh, what's your glorious plan? And she's like, oh, I'm going to enchant it, and I'm going to take over its mind. Because what she said was, because they said since the beginning, they said that the reason why everyone's trapped at the end of time is because that purple monster is blocking the exit and they can't go past him to get off that plane that they're on. Sylvie said she's going to enchant the monster because what she said was, I don't think what lies beyond is the way out. She said the person who's controlling the purple monster, that's the person who's behind all this, who created the time, the TVA and everything. And that person is hiding behind the purple smoke monster because it's using the purple smoke monster to protect itself and conceal its identity. So she said, if we can enchant the purple monster, then we can break through and we can find out who's really behind this. So then like young Loki and old Loki, they were just like, hey, we want no part of this. And then, obviously our Loki, he was just like, I'll do it for you, Sylvie. He's like, I'll be there for you. The two of them had a nice conversation where they were sitting and talking, like sharing their feelings. Loki did a thing using his magic where he created like a blanket, for both of them to be put around because she was cold. And then that's when it hit me. If you basically have the power to create clothing, why are you still wearing dress shoes, slacks, a button-up shirt, and a tie? Because he's been wearing that thing for a while now, and he looks ridiculous doing all the action stunts that he's doing, wearing a button-up shirt. Like he looks like a used car salesman. And I need him to I need him to change clothes and put on a different outfit. But that's just me. So then, like I said, the two of them had their embrace, and then after that, old Loki and young Loki, they left them alone because, like I said, they ain't want no part of it. And then, here comes the purple smoke monster. And this is where the show finally got interesting, is like the purple smoke monster showed up, and then, they were both of them was trying to enchant it, but Loki was just like, I don't know how to do that. And she was like, yes, you do, because we're the same and you have the power. So he was trying to do the enchantment. And then just before the purple smoke monster was about to devour both of them, old Loki showed back up again, and he used his power. He used all the power that he had, and this is some dope ass shit. He actually used his power to create an illusion, but the illusion that he created, he basically created Asgard. And I was just like, well, damn, like he created like the entire Asgard minus the Rainbow Bridge. So then the purple dragon monster went after him because he was just like, well, shit, you're the one making the biggest noise. And then he was trying to devour Asgard. He was trying to destroy the castle. It wasn't working. And then, then the old Loki, he was like, glorious purpose. And I was like, well, at least somebody achieved glorious purpose. And then, then at that moment, our Loki, he ended up tapping into the magic. Both, like Sylvie and Loki together, they used their magic to control the purple smoke monster. But right before they were able to do it, the purple smoke monster ate old Loki and killed old Loki, and then the illusion disappeared. So he actually died serving a glorious purpose. You can't be mad at that. And then, like after that, then they controlled the purple monster. They ended up like splitting him open so they can see what's on the other side. There was like a castle or something on the other side, and then the two of them walked in to go handle their business and kick the ass of whoever's behind all this. And that was how the episode ended. And thank God, because like the next episode's the season finale, and we finally get to find out who's behind. Like it took us 6 episodes, and now we're finally going to see who's behind all this. And I just want to know what part not Kerry Washington plays in all this, because it's just like it's either she's also behind the whole thing and she's aware of everything that's going on and she's just playing dumb, or she just wants to find out who's behind this because she just wants to continue to drink the Kool-Aid because she doesn't want to know about like what really goes on in reality. But we'll find out. Like I said, I just want to know how this whole thing's going to end. With all these different timelines and all these different branches. Are they going to branch so many different timelines? That's what creates the multiverse of madness. Who knows? But share your comments below and we'll talk about it. So thank you for tuning in. Hit me up on Twitter. Hit me up on Instagram as always. Hit me up on YouTube so we can share our discussions about what's going to go on in the season finale and we can continue to talk about it. Also, go to imaginavisions.com, cop you one of these or cop any other t-shirt that, that they have. They have a lot of great designs. I like this one personally because, it's just a dope ass image and it's, it also happens to be my favorite colors, so you'll see more of this because this isn't going to be the first and last time I wear this t-shirt. Go to imaginavisions.com, hosted by my boy Justin. Imaginavisions, where imagination becomes reality. Definitely check it out and support. Thank you for tuning in, guys. So until next time, to the season finale apparently for Loki, take care. We'll be here to review it, and for glorious purpose, I'm out this bitch.